Hello and Vanakkam. I've left behind the biting cold of North India and travelled down south. And this time I've come out to seek the sun and soak up in the sights, sounds and smells of the extremely colourful and warm state of Tamil Nadu. This time I travelled more than 2,500 kilometres from Delhi to be part of Pongal, which is a harvest festival celebrated across Tamil Nadu. However, while the rest of the state enjoys Pongal the usual way, Madurai does so in its own unmatchable style. But before I take you to that part, here's a bit about this incredible city. The foundations of Madurai were laid by Kulasekara Pandya when he built a temple in a forest clearing around a Swayambhu or self-emerged lingam. As the symbol of Shiva was found under a Kadamba tree, the place was also called Kadambavanam. But present-day Madurai is anything but a forest. From classical times itself, Madurai was known as a city that never sleeps, where markets were laid out as day markets and night markets. Today, that has in a way merged into a 24/7 market that sells, among other flowers, the famous Madurai jasmine, which of course is a favourite both in the temples and in households across India. While a lot of cities have round-the-clock cafes and restaurants, this one that's known as Tunganagaram, or the city that never goes to sleep, actually has a 24-hour flower market. This is the city of temples, also known as the Athens of South India. And this, of course, is the mother of all Pongal celebrations, where it all began in the halcyon days of Tamil literature and culture, an age that we know today as the Sangam age. Madurai was once the centre of this Sangam renaissance that spread over much of South India. And this iconic Meenakshi Temple was the centre around which the town of Madurai gradually grew. Although in truth, this is a twin temple structure known as the Meenakshi Sundareshwara Temple. But most people refer to it simply as the Meenakshi Amman Temple. And there's good reason for this, because as one explanation goes, Meenakshi, or the one with the gorgeous fish-shaped eyes, was a Dravidian goddess. And this temple was her awesome earthly home. However, over the years, as the influence of North Indian Brahmanism began to take root here, she was given in marriage to Shiva, or Sundareshwarar as he's known here. But it's hard to wipe out ancient traditions and beliefs, and so in temple rituals, Meenakshi is still given precedence over her husband. The temple is simply referred to as the Meenakshi Amman Temple, where the name of the spouse has been conveniently nixed. How did the story of Meenakshi emerge?
According to our local traditions and local Puranas, Meenakshi is considered as the daughter of a Pandya king, Malayathoja Pandya. After her father, Meenakshi ruled Madurai. She conquered almost all the local rulers and the various directional deities. But on that time of her birth, she had 3 breasts. So there was one saying, whenever she encountered her husband, the 3rd breast will be disappeared.
Okay.
So after conquering all the local chiefs, local rulers, she marched towards north to Himalayas. At Himalayas, that was the sacred abode of Lord Shiva, she has to encounter that Lord Shiva. Whenever he saw that face, the 3rd breast of her was disappeared.
Okay.
So on that time she realized that I have seen my husband.
In the outermost corridors of the Airam Kalamandapam are situated the so-called musical pillars. One of Meenakshi Temple's most visually delightful places is the Airam Kalamandapam, or the Hall of 1,000 Pillars, where each pillar is decorated with sculptures so kinetic they almost seem lifelike. The credit for building the present-day temple mostly goes to Thirumalai Naikar, a Naik ruler of the region. The patron of many construction projects in Madurai, Naikar was also responsible for creating this imposing brick and mortar heaven on earth. It is known for its beautiful and detailed stucco work. While the Meenakshi Temple adds to the sacred geography of Madurai, later architectural additions to the place were done by the Naik rulers. The Naiks were essentially governors of the Vijayanagar Empire, who, after the death of Krishnadevaraya, declared themselves independent. This particular palace was built in the 17th century by Thirumalai Naikar, and it's known as the Swarg Vilas Palace, or the Palace of Heavenly Delights. As a city, Madurai was once the center of the Sangam age, where much of its classical prose and poetry was composed. The Sangam period saw the flourishing of both the Tamil language and Tamil consciousness. One of the most well-known works of this period was the epic Sillapatikaram that was authored by a Jain monk known as Ilango Adigal. Though today, much of Madurai's Tamil Jain culture has disappeared, there still remain caves around the city where monks once meditated and dwelt upon life. One of these places is known as the Jain Hill, and it is situated near a village called Kilakuilkudi.
Non-Vedic religions like Jainism and Buddhism got very much influence in this region.
We are right now at the Jain Hill,
Yes,
which is
now we are standing before the Jain Hill. This type of monuments are around Madurai at 15 centers. They are at least dated back to 300 BC to 300 AD.
Wow.
That means the actual Sangam period. Almost 15 places were occupied by the Jain monks.
The origins of Pongal can be traced back to the Sangam age, where a harvest festival used to take place in the month of Thai in the Tamil solar calendar. Pongal, like Makar Sankranti, is the only festival of the Hindu calendar that falls on the same day year after year. That's because it follows the sidereal or solar calendar instead of the lunar one. And it's considered auspicious because it marks the entry of the sun from its southern part or Dakshinayana into its northern cycle or Uttarayana. Pongal is 4 days of celebrating the new sun and the new crop. So the best way to see it is in the villages, where its real significance can still be seen. So I decide to find a place that gives me a true picture of how Pongal may have been thousands of years ago.
Hello,
Hi Uday, this is Dhiraj.
Dhiraj. Ah, yes, Dhiraj.
We are on the way right now
Okay.
to shoot Jallikattu.
Mm-hmm.
How are the preparations going?
Yes, I am in the village only and everything is getting ready. You can come anyway.
So I look forward to the shoot and I'll meet you soon.
Always welcome, always welcome.
One of the highlights of Pongal in Madurai is a unique sport that involves cattle. This happens on the third day of Pongal, which is still 2 days away. But I'm curious to see what this sport is all about. And so I head to Palamedu, where preparations are in full swing for the uniquely agrarian sport of Jallikattu.
Makes the excitement much more.
They are more enthusiastic
So where are they taking the bull now?
to their home or
So the registration process is completed now.
no, not yet. Registration is already done. This is the bull of this village. This bull belongs to Manjamalai INR.
Okay.
So the name of the bull is also Manjamalai. This is a temple bull.
Okay.
So this is common for village. So we used to release the bull first, so no one catches it.
Okay. So when the race actually starts, he'll be the first
He is
bull
the
to
first
be
bull
released.
released.
And no one will catch it because
No-
he's a special
Yes,
bull.
we used to carry the bull throughout the village tomorrow,
Okay.
and people used to give him pongal, and then they used to give a dress, some towels,
So it's a special bull who goes to every house
every house.
a
And
day
every-
before the
they are
actual
greeting.
race and
They are
they
greeting
greet
the
him
bull.
and
Actually.
seek his blessings. Huh?
Yes.
About 21 kilometers from Madurai is the village of Tuyaneri, where I'm going to meet my host Arul Prakasam and his family. It is before sunrise, and Arul has very graciously allowed our crew to be part of his family's Pongal celebrations. A lot of us in the north know little about South Indian festivals. That's why we often tend to miss out on the similarities. The Pongal Puja, for example, happens early in the morning, like the snans of North India. Bouquets of kuraipu flower are placed on doors and vehicles to ward off bad luck and bring in prosperity and good luck in the days to come. Village and family deities are also greeted on this day. All this happens before the start of Pongal, that is, the sun lights up the horizon.
எல்லாரும் பொங்குறப்ப வருவாங்க வந்து
The pot is all set, and when the pot boils over, that is the official beginning of the Pongal celebrations. Right now there's some water and milk in this pot, and once the boiling over happens, they're going to add some rice and sugar to it. And the dish that is going to be made is actually known as the Pongal dish, and which will be served as prasadam to everyone, part of the celebrations. Now it's finally boiled over, right? So this is signifies the auspiciousness of the whole thing, right? How wealth and good things will keep on. So Pongal being an auspicious day because the sun has moved into the northern cycle or the cycle of good days. And here this dish is being made to propitiate the sun god, and it's known as the Sakarai Pongal. Sakarai signifies the sugar aspect of it because a bit of sugar, which is the extract of sugarcane, is being used in this dish with a lot of ghee and milk and water. So essentially this dish is being made for the sun god to propitiate him and to ensure that the rest of the year after Pongal is as auspicious as the past has been. The sun shining ahead of us is now officially in its northern cycle or the Uttarayana. Here in this Alpana, it's being represented for all its life-giving and life-affirming beneficial aspects as the star of our solar system, which Pongal celebrates.
Okay, thank you. Okay, happy Pongal to you. Happy Pongal.
Happy Pongal.
Thank you so much for your hospitality. Lovely food. Thank you so much. Happy Pongal. And thank you so much for helping me and finding me this lovely family on Pongal.
You're always welcome.
Thank you.
Come on in for next
I'll come again.
Bye bye.
The third day of Pongal is when the village of Palamedu comes alive with people and cattle. It is a day that everyone has been looking forward to. Bulls as well as catchers taking part in the contest are medically checked, okayed and registered before the event. We are told there are more than 700 bulls taking part in today's event. The excitement in the air is like that of a big one-day match.
Today is Mattu Pongal. Mattu literally means cattle. And this is a celebration of cattle which work the fields throughout the year, helping people, helping the farmers produce as much harvest and crop that they can handle. Mattu Pongal essentially is a tribute to the cattle, especially the bulls that work the fields. And now from here they are all lining up and they're going to an eventual race that will take place up ahead, which is called Jallikattu. If you win the prize, what are you going to do with the prize?
ஜெயிச்சா அப்புறம் அதை என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க பரிசு ஜெயிச்சா அதை என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க
போய் சந்தோஷமா கொண்டாடுவோம்
They used to celebrate.
சாமியை கும்பிட்டு சந்தோஷமா கொண்டாடுவோம்
They used to pray to God and celebrate. They used to prepare
Has he
Pongal.
ever won? Has he ever won?
This is the 5th time he came to the Jallikattu. All the 4 times he won.
Okay. All the best. All the best. One of the many legends associated with Jallikattu is that Shiva asked his favorite bull, Basava, to go down to earth and convey to human beings that they should take an oil bath every day and have food once a month. Somehow Basava got mixed up in the command and gave just the opposite of it to the humans. This angered Shiva so much that he banished Basava to a life of toil and struggle on earth. And this event commemorates Basava earning his return back to Shiva's abode.
While that's the story, Jallikattu today is a show of guts and glory, where young and quite fearless men go after a bull in order to control him.
Jallikattu essentially is a game of skill and agility The catchers over here who are standing here at green have to hold on to the bull by the hump, not by the horns, by the hump, and run along with the bull till that rope which has the yellow cloth hanging on it. Only if they cross the line, that means they have won. If they leave the hump before that, that means the bull has won.
But there's always a chance that the bull turns out smarter, faster, and way too strong for them. In our times of animal rights, the Jallikattu that we see today is a much milder, softer version of what it once used to be. But still, you can never be absolutely injury-proof.
Are there also chances of getting hurt, injury, pain, something when you're catching the bull?
நீங்கள் மாடு பிடிக்கும்போது உங்களுக்கு ஏதாவது அடிபட்டிருக்கா?
அதெல்லாம் அடிலாம் படாது.
இது வரைக்கும் பட்டதில்லை.
கீழே விழுந்தா லேசாக கிராச் ஆகும்.
If he fall down, then he will get injured. Otherwise, he is able to manage.
Have you ever got hurt or injured?
இது வரைக்கும் ஏதாவது அடிபட்டிருக்கா?
இல்லை வாயை கிழிச்சிருக்கு. ஸோ சல்லேட்டு மாடு வச்சிருக்காரு.
He has got hurt. Huh?
சல்லேட்டு மாடு இப்போ சைக்கிள் மாடு
When?
எப்போ அது நடந்தது?
இது வந்து 6 மாதம் 7 மாதம்.
So last year.
Last year. On Jallikattu day.
10 வயசுல வந்து மாடு பிடிக்கிறேன்.
So he has taming bull in his 10th year, 10th age.
Oh, when he was 10 years old, he's been doing it. And this accident happened last year, right?
This year he is on cycle.
Oh, congratulations.
The thrill perhaps lies in the fact that there is always a thin line between victory and injury. And sometimes they both come together. Not too long ago, Jallikattu was an exercise that every young man had to go through in order to win a fair maiden's hand. But today, it is like any other extreme sport, where prizes come not in the form of a bride, but as gold coins, bicycles, steel cupboards, and such like. Our journey through Madurai winds up once again at the Meenakshi Temple, where people come to offer their Thanksgiving prayers and share in the bonhomie of Pongal.
Kanum Pongal is the fourth and final day of Pongal season. It means everything is going to be peachy until next Pongal. People come out to meet their family and friends and perhaps to do a bit of shopping. As for me, I'm heading back home to Delhi to enjoy the last few days of the remaining Delhi winter. I'll see you again in another episode of the Fairs of India. Until then, it's me, Dhiraj Singh, saying Vanakkam and goodbye.